on my computer that we are live in Ruby Gold Diggers. All right. Oh, I'm not seeing it yet, so we'll just give it one more second. I think there's about a 10-second delay. All right. I'm not seeing it, but we'll just get started and I'm sure it'll catch up on here. Here we go. All right. All right. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. And I hope you are all doing well this crazy week of Christmas, celebrating, prepping, everything going on. If you have family coming in or you're going out anywhere this week, happy travels. Hope everyone is doing well and staying calm and peaceful. I know sometimes we need a little reminder of that as women, right, at this time of year. So I am here today with Miss Cheri. I am super excited to hear your story, hear about a recent win that you had in your business, and hear a little bit more about what you were doing before you became a stylist and what has changed for you. So I see that you have had a recent win with one of your customers, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about that and a little bit more. So we'll get into your recent win in a few minutes, but if you could share with us a little bit more about your story, your background, where you're living, your family life. You mentioned you've got a lot going on. I'd love to hear about that.
I primarily grew up in the Midwest, but as a young child, I traveled the entire United States with the exception of 4 states: Alaska, Hawaii, Washington, and the state of Oregon, or the state of Washington and Oregon. So I've been all over the U.S. And then from 9 on, I pretty much stayed within the Midwest sector. And so I, now live still in the Midwest, and we're happily settled here. And when my husband retires, we'll probably travel and let him see the United States like I did when I was little.
Oh, wonderful. I love that. And so you've been in the Midwest for a while, you're married, you've shared you have a house full of guests coming soon. So I'm assuming you have, a vibrant community life. Do you have a family, or you have some friends coming over today?
Yeah. No, we have 2 children. 2 children and 1 by proxy. And so we have Christmas with our 1 by proxy and her family tonight. And then our son comes in with his wife and son tonight. And our daughter's here with a friend of hers because she works the next 3 days and we won't see her at all over Christmas. So there's just a lot of people coming and going today as we get into these next few days.
Yeah, and I think so many of us can relate, right? We're busy women, we have a lot going on, we have family, but we are still fitting this business into, some of our time that we have. And you shared that you recently fit a customer who had some back pain, and she was wearing the dumiettes, and she decided to invest in a cami.
She was previously a demi only person. She wanted nothing to do with a cami. And we got into a long conversation just about my health and kind of the way Ruby Ribbon just changed my whole game. And we got into a long conversation, and I said, I really think you should try a cami. And I said, and I explained to her, what it had done for me and how they supported and assisted me in my health issues. And she pulled the trigger and she bought a cami. And she's like, she was just completely shocked. And it's just given her a complete renewed passion for all of the Ruby Ribbon products. And she's not the only one. My aunt as well has stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And part of the location that she has it in is in her spine. And the camis for her back allow her to be up longer and moving longer and do more. And it's fantastic that a product like that can give women who are really being put through the motions in the ringer, right? The options of functioning better and living a fuller, more complete life with a little bit of confidence. And that just, I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you hit the nail on the head, because sometimes we think of the camis as a cosmetic upgrade, or, just a way to look and feel better, which it is definitely. We smooth the lines, tuck the tummy, lift the breasts, all the good things. But we don't realize sometimes how the quality of someone's life can go up so much when she is not having that chronic pain anymore. And a lot of the times, we have that chronic pain that can be exacerbated by wearing an underwire bra, or something that puts pressure on those points in our breast tissue, in our spine. So I'd love to hear, you mentioned that you had, if you're open to sharing, that you have had some health challenges yourself, and your life has changed since wearing your cami. So are you now pain-free, or what has changed for you since becoming a stylist and wearing the camis?
I will never be pain-free. Pain is a daily thing that I live with, and that's okay. But camis, so let me maybe start at the beginning, because I want to encourage stylists out there who have people who come in and maybe just want to take advantage of the deal on the kit, right? Because that's who I was. I am that person. I am that person who said, all right, I want to try these, but it is a much better deal for me to try them this way, right? My background is I was classically trained as a nurse. When I moved to Indiana, the field I really wanted to specialize in was not a need here like it was near Chicago where I was at. And so I ended up in the finance field. So I'm a numbers person. And so I looked at the numbers, and the number said, buy this kit, you're going to get more opportunity there to shop, right? And I had no intention of selling it. None. Zero. And then I got them. And then they changed my life. Literally. I suffer from is probably not the best word. I live with multiple autoimmune diseases. And so that requires that I get low dose chemotherapy once every 5 weeks, sometimes accompanied with a weekly shot. So, pain free, that doesn't exist. However, higher functioning, that does exist. And camis make that possible. I also had a major breast reduction 20 years ago. And the scarring that I have made wearing bras difficult. And so I'm very textile and very sensitive to certain fabrics. And so camis made that possible. I mean, literally, it was life changing. And then as it became life changing, I was like, I can't not share it with people. I can't not share it with people who I know suffer from some of the things I do. And that's how I started reaching out to people, was to help people who I knew had part of the problems that I had, or part of the, back pain, or just some life circumstance that they could help. And it's been I've had an overwhelming response from those people.
I love it. And I think so many of us can relate when we get started with this business. Maybe we don't know it's going to be a business. We want the discount, like you said. That's actually how I started too. And we think this is amazing. You know, what's the catch? You know, we see the videos, we see the before and after pictures, and we think, is this really going to work for me? And then when we step into it and we feel it and we see it for ourselves, you know, it really is the solution to the $1 million bra problem. And 4.5 years later, I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's still no catch, you know, that I found. And so such a beautiful story. And, you know, I think so many of us, we know somebody who's breastfeeding, somebody who might have breast cancer. We interviewed Donna earlier today, and she helped her first client who had a double mastectomy. So serving all ages, all stages of womanhood and motherhood, and all the changes in shape and health and everything that come with it. So ladies, if you're watching this live, give Cheri some love in the comments. Feel free to ask any questions. And if you are a stylist watching this and you want to share your stylist story and a recent win you've had, like Cheri, who helped her first customer relieve some pain in her life, we would love to hear from you and have you on one of these stylist spotlights. And so I have one concluding question for you, Cheri, if that's okay.
Yeah.
If you were to tell a new stylist or maybe somebody who hasn't tried the camis yet and they might be a little bit afraid to get started, either stepping into the cami or a little bit nervous to start a business, do you have any advice about, you know, maybe just trying it and seeing even for the discount?
First of all, buy the kit. Buy the kit. Take the deal. You're out nothing if you take the kit and do nothing with it but use your camis, right? You're literally out nothing. But that. And so, I mean, that is exactly what I intended to do. That's exactly what you intended to do. Here you are 4 years later. Here I am. Like, I do it. Just take it. You don't have, if you choose to not do anything with it, fine. But then wear them and see what it does for your life. And, you know that you may not get the perfect fit the first time, but you will get the perfect fit if you just try.
Yes, I love it, right? Nothing to lose except your bra. And
Yeah.
while every cami, you know, is for every lady, we have a cami for every lady. So if you're watching this and you are a customer or thinking about joining, reach out to the person who invited you to watch this video and let them know, and they can help you find your perfect cami fit. So thank you so much, Cheri. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate you so much, and it's so nice to get to know you a little bit better along with all the ladies watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day with your family who's waiting for you. Thank you for your time today to have
No problem.
the celebration. So, all right. Thank you, ladies.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, Kayla.
Merry Christmas to you too, Cheri.
Bye-bye.